Title: A secluded mountain retreat, cradled by whispering pines and steep ridgelines. The air is crisp, infused with the quiet scent of wet moss and pine bark. Inside a minimalist wooden cabin nestled at the forest's edge, the interior is simple yet warm. Exposed beams, soft floor cushions arranged in a wide circle, and woven wool blankets folded neatly near the windows. A wall of glass opens the space to the woods beyond, revealing towering trees cloaked in early morning mist. The forest seems to breathe. Birdsong filters through the window cracks, and the occasional creak of the old wood reminds the group they are far from the chaos of the outside world. In the corner, a kettle hums gently on a hot plate, releasing quiet puffs of steam. The silence inside is purposeful, dense not with awkwardness, but potential. It is a silence waiting to be filled with truth. Characters: Sean, 40s, the retreat's facilitator, soft-spoken, measured, and deeply grounded. There is a slowness to him, not laziness, but intention. Every word feels chosen, every silence respected. His past is hinted at, not boasted about, but there's a depth to his gaze that speaks of lived experience, inner storms weathered, and peace hard-won. Lila, 30s, a sharp, high-achieving entrepreneur from the city. She carries herself with posture and polish, but beneath her curated composure is a woman teetering on burnout. Her mind races. Her phone is never far, yet there's a flicker in her eyes, curiosity, longing, something she can't quite name but desperately wants. Raj, 50s, a reserved man, recently divorced after a decades-long marriage. His words are few, but deliberate. He is clearly intelligent, but wears fatigue like a second skin. There's a quiet mourning in him, not just for a relationship lost, but for the parts of himself he gave away in its keeping. No, 20s, a heart-on-her-sleeve empath who feels everything, deeply, loudly, and without filter. Her emotions often overwhelm her before she can make sense of them. There's pain in her past, but also passion and a fierce desire to understand herself. She seeks stillness, but doesn't yet trust it. Tom, 60s, a grizzled, no-nonsense ex-Marine with deep-set lines and a straightforward approach. He believes in structure, tools, and proof. Skeptical of anything woo-woo, yet curious enough to be here. He doesn't speak unless he has to, but when he does, people listen. Scene setup. It's the first full morning of the retreat. Outside, the mist clings to the trees. Inside, the group has gathered in a silent circle. Everyone is seated cross-legged on floor cushions. A single candle flickers in the center of the room. Sean walks to the middle, barefoot, holding a small stone in his hand. He places the stone gently by the candle and looks up at the group. The silence stretches, but it is warm, not tense. Sean, voice soft but resonant. Today's affirmation is simple, but living it? That's the work of a lifetime. I train my mind to respond, not to react. He lets the words hang, then walks slowly around the circle. Xuan responding is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is choosing stillness before sound, clarity before conflict, compassion before control. It is not about silencing your voice. It's about aligning your voice with your values. He stops behind Raj, then walks again. Sean. Reaction is instinctual, often necessary, but not always helpful. It comes from the primitive brain, from fear, from habit. But a response? That comes from awareness, from reflection, from your higher self. It is not a delay. It is a demonstration of power. Tom, gruffly. So how the hell do we train it? How do you pause when your blood's boiling? Sean. We don't wait for the fire to train the hose. We train daily, quietly, in the small moments, in traffic, in line at the store, when your child cries, when your ego stings. We notice, we breathe, We don't let the first emotion drive the car. Nae, teary-eyed. But sometimes I feel it before I even know what it is. And by the time I do, I've already said something I regret. Xuan, that's okay. That's awareness too. Each time you catch it sooner, you grow stronger. Each time you breathe instead of break, you reclaim a piece of your peace. Afterthought. Engagement prompt. As the scene settles and the group sits in silence again, the camera lingers on the candle flame. The soft hum of the kettle rises in the background. Outside, a bird sings. The screen slowly fades to black. Then, white text appears on screen. You are not your first thought. You are the space between the trigger and the truth. Which part of today's affirmation spoke to you the most? Was it the part about reclaiming your calm? The reminder that stillness is not surrender? Or maybe it was the courage in choosing to pause. Share your reflections in the comments. Let's grow together, one mindful breath at a time. And if today's message helped reset your mind, subscribe and turn on notifications. This is your space, your daily pause, your mental reset. Genre. Act I, the first breath int, retreat. Cabin, morning. A fire crackles in a small stone hearth. The group sits in a circle on meditation cushions. A few mugs of tea steam in the center. The atmosphere is calm but heavy with silence. A small whiteboard stands at the front with one phrase written in neat block letters. Train your mind to respond, not react. Sean slowly walks to the center, standing barefoot on the wooden floor. He looks each participant in the eye, not as a performance, but as a gesture of presence. Sean, before we dive into anything today, I want you to take a real breath. Not a shallow one, not the kind we fake on Zoom calls. A real one. Into your gut. Let your shoulders drop, and don't do it because I said so. Do it because your body is begging for it. Each person inhales differently. Some close their eyes. Some are awkward. Xuan. Now, read the board. Train your mind to respond, not react. Sounds simple, right? It's the kind of thing you'd find under an inspirational Instagram post, painted over an ocean photo. But how many of us actually live that phrase? Lila, scoffing slightly. It's just semantics, isn't it? Response, reaction. What's the difference? You're still doing something. Sean, interesting question, and you're not wrong to ask it. Let's break it down. Xuan walks over to the whiteboard and draws two circles side by side. Xuan, this first circle represents reaction. It's fast, automatic, emotional. It happens before you even know it. Fight, flight, freeze. Pure survival mode. You don't get to choose it. It just takes the wheel. He draws an arrow pointing to the second circle. Sean, this second circle is response, stillness, awareness, consideration. It's what comes after that first flash, if you let it. It's not just about action, it's about intention. Raj, quietly. So, reaction is instinct, response is reflection. Xuan, exactly. Reaction is a spark. Response is the fire you build. Slow, warm, controlled. The problem is most of us never train for that gap. We go straight from trigger to explosion, from discomfort to defense. And that gap, that space between what happens and what we do next, that's the most powerful place in our entire lives. Aikti, Tuntu, examining the wound. Sean, let's make this real. Raj, if you're comfortable, tell me about a time you reacted. And later, wished you hadn't. Raj hesitates. A long pause. He clenches his jaw. Raj. A couple months ago, my son told me he didn't want to finish college. Said he wanted to freelance, take a year to travel. I didn't ask why, didn't even listen. I told him he was irresponsible. I told him he'd regret it forever. He didn't say anything. He just shut down. Haven't had a real conversation since. Silence. Sean, thank you for sharing that. Truly. And if you could do it again, how would a response have looked? Our age, maybe I would have asked him what was really going on, why he felt he needed to step away. I would have asked, instead of accusing. Maybe I would have shut my mouth for 2 seconds. Sean. And that is the difference. It's not about perfection, it's about pause. Naya, but what if the emotion is too big? Like, if someone says something cruel or dismissive, I don't want to wait. I want to defend myself. I want to react because it feels like survival. Sean, beautiful honesty. You want to react because your nervous system has been trained to prepare for war. But the person in front of you might not be your enemy. They might just be hurting too, or clumsy, or unaware. And in that moment, the most powerful thing you can do is not give them control over you. Tom, so what? We just become monks? Let people walk on us? Sean. We become warriors who know when to draw the sword and when to lay it down. Responding doesn't mean surrendering. It means choosing your ground, not reacting from your wounds. Chapter 3. The framework. Xuan walks back to the board. He writes, awareness, pause, choice, response. Sean, this is the map. Step 1. Awareness. You feel the spike, the tightening in your gut, the rise in your chest. Step 2. Pause. You don't speak yet. You don't hit send. You don't slam the door. Step 3. Choice. You ask, what is the most helpful thing I can do right now, for myself and for this situation? Step 4. Response. Then you act, with clarity, not chaos. Lila sounds good in theory, but in real life, people don't give you time to pause. Things move fast. Xuan, correct. Which is why we train. We train like athletes, like soldiers. We train until the pause becomes instinct. At first, it takes all your strength, but with practice, that pause becomes who you are. Not something you reach for, but something you live inside. Comment below what part of today's affirmation spoke to you the most. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss your daily mental reset. Act I4. Real-time exercise. Sean walks to a nearby table. He brings a wooden bowl to the center, filled with lemons. Everyone watches, puzzled. Sean, each of you, take a lemon, hold it. We're going to simulate something together. They each grab one. The mood shifts. Curiosity mixes with nervous laughter. Sean, this lemon represents discomfort. Sour, sharp. Now I'm going to say something triggering to each of you. Your task? Feel the emotion rise, but don't speak. Just notice. He turns to Lila. Sean. Lila, you're not as smart as you pretend to be. Your ambition is a mask for insecurity. You fake control, but we can all see how fragile you are. Lila grips the lemon. Her mouth opens slightly. Her eyes water. But she stays still. Xuan, what happened inside? ILA. I wanted to prove you wrong. I wanted to fight. Tell you about my resume. But I didn't. And instead, I saw something. I saw how tired I am of proving, how much energy it takes. Xuan nods. He turns to Anaya. Xuan, Nia. You're too emotional. Too much. People tiptoe around you. You're exhausting. Nia looks down. Her eyes blink fast. Nia, I wanted to run, or cry, or both. But I also thought, maybe I don't need to shrink. Maybe I can feel what I feel and not owe anyone an explanation. Sean turns to Tom. Sean, Tom, your discipline makes you cold. You think structure is strength, but it's fear. You've built walls so high even your own family can't reach you. Tom doesn't flinch, but his jaw tightens. Tom, I wanted to dismiss you, write it off, but I heard my daughter's voice in that. She said something like that last Christmas. Silence. Sean, that is the work, not the perfect comeback, but the moment where you see yourself before you perform. The transformation. They now sit quietly. The lemons are back in the bowl. Xuan. This world rewards reactivity. It rewards the loudest voice, the fastest opinion. But transformation, growth, peace, they belong to those who master stillness and motion. Xuan. Training. Your mind is not about being passive. It's about becoming deliberate. It's about choosing what kind of person you want to be, not just reacting to the one the world keeps pulling you into. So, responding is a form of rebellion. Xuan, yes. A rebellion against impulse, against the chaos that raised us. A rebellion in favor of intention, clarity, and power without harm. Activai Soyan, repeat after me. I am not my reaction. I am my response. Everyone hesitates. And softly, together. All I am not my reaction. I am my response. Xuan again. All I am not my reaction. I am my response. A long, full silence follows. Outside, the trees sway gently. Inside, something subtle has shifted. Not loudly, but deeply. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Viktor Frankl.